Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Chad.
This week we covered 1977's Cathy's Curse.
Cathy was 9 years old when she became an unholy terror. Cathy's Curse. Look into her eyes and feel fear. Would such a lovable child strike such terror into those who love her?
My wife's just had another attack.
Don't make her angry, or Cathy will strike back and drive you right out of your mind.
I sent Mommy to the madhouse, the butler's scared to death. I threw Nanny out the window, now 3 of us are left. My daddy, my dolly, and me. Me.
Look into her eyes. She has the power to terrorize.
My daddy, my dolly, and me.
Cathy's Curse.
Well, we have Layla has joined the podcast.
To meow about this movie.
Well, there's a lot to meow about. This film was released in Canada. It has 2 titles. Bear with me. I'm learning French, so I'm going to say what the titles are. Un c'est gentil petite fille and Cauchemar. Cauchemar is nightmares, which, you know, there's so many different films named Nightmares, right?
Yeah.
And the other one is like a little, like a small granddaughter girl. Weird name for the movie, I guess. Loose translation. This film is fucking nuts, okay?
First of all, you know it's Canadian because it's always fucking winter out, no matter what it is. Everybody's always wearing a damn coat. Or, I'm sorry, they're not wearing a coat when it's cold as fuck out. There's snow on the ground. You can tell it's clearly cold as fuck, but everybody's just walking around like it's nothing because they're all Canadian. They're used to it being 20 below zero all the time.
Yeah, it's co-produced in Canada and in France, and it was shot in Westmont, Montreal, and Quebec. I don't know what was going through, whoever wrote this, what they were thinking about. I have to say, I do love watching films that are from other countries, especially Canada, because they're usually fucking crazy. And
this one does not disappoint.
Oh, no, it doesn't. And let me just tell you, you know, I know nowadays people complain about like, oh my God, that trailer, that they edited that trailer to show the whole fucking movie. But the poster to this, okay, one of the posters to this has this, and this is just going to surmise the whole damn film. I sent Mommy to the madhouse, but Butler's scared to death. I threw Nanny out the window. Now 3 of us are left. My daddy, my dolly, and me.
Wow.
That just
that
sums up
poster
everything.
Doesn't give it away, huh?
No, I mean, come on. She has the power to terrorize.
Wow, she does at that.
Yeah, she does. What? I mean, this, first of all, I don't even know where to fucking begin because there's so many different things.
Okay, let's just start with the fact that one of the first spoken lines of dialogue in the movie is when the guy comes in and the girl says, "Where's Mommy? Your mother's a bitch. Come with me." I'm like, oh shit, we're off to a good start.
She's gonna pay for what she did to you.
Which, I'm not sure what she did. She just left her?
She just left her for the other dude, and she only took the son with her, and she left her freaking daughter behind. So I guess, he felt very strongly about that.
So, yeah. So basically, 30 years before the start of the movie, so it would have been around 1947, the woman left her husband, and this guy made him so mad that, of course, like I said, he's like, your mother's a bitch or whatever. They hop in the car, they're driving down the road. The girl says, oh no, it's a rabbit. He swerves off the road at a very low speed, goes into the ditch, and the car explodes into flames and they burn up.
Yeah, that scene was a little hard to watch because she's alive and he's like, busted his fucking head in the steering wheel, so he's all bloody unconscious. And she's like, Daddy, the flames, the fire. And
But get out the car.
No, she's too busy shaking her dad, and then they both die for no. I mean, she could have survived, like you said. And I hate when, and I know, obviously, I don't have experience in this. This may be a thing, but it's just like you're covered in snow, and there's flames. Jump out the car, and you're gonna instantaneously, if you do get a flame on you, like a cinder or something, you're gonna be able to distinguish, blow that out with rolling around in the fucking snow. Like, it always bothers me when there's cars exploding in snow. I'm just like, really? Would that explode? But of course, I'm just being mad picky, and of course it would explode. It's freaking fire, like, in a car.
So 30 years later, the brother that we see is moving his family back into the house that he hasn't been into since that night when his mother took him and left.
Yeah, we don't see the brother at all at the beginning of the film. We just see him materialize as a grown man with his own family moving into this house, which this is my favorite thing in the movie. My favorite scene. I mean, there's so many scenes. Where he enters the home, okay, and all their shit is still there, like in perfect condition. It hasn't been 30 years. There's not baskets, rotting or, wallpaper coming off the fucking walls. No, everything is pristine, like they left fucking like the day before. And he goes around the room and starts naming everything in the room. This is the sewing kit my mother used to use to hem my pants. This is my father's bookcase, where all of his novels are, where he used to read. And I'm just like, what? Who does that? And also,
you haven't been there for 30 years.
Why would you remember these things? But I'm not fucking joking. He actually does go around a large, like the whole front, bottom level of the house, and starts naming all these things off and talking about his little memories he has of these things. One of them actually is my favorite, but that scene is just hilarious. I guess I could just jump into what the hell it is that he's very attached to. So he has one real attachment, and it was a goddess bisque statue. He was 4 years old, and he remembers when he was 4 that he really loved this goddess bisque statue. It's a fucking white bisque statue of a goddess woman with her arms up, and he literally just holds it in a fucking arm, he he amputates her arm by just holding it because it's been 30 years, so it's just falling apart. And he's so sad about this. What 4-year-old, maybe a fancy fucking one, is my best friend and my best toy is this fucking
tiny statue of a naked goddess.
Yeah.
It brought me such joy, Father.
What?
Why did you destroy my statue, Father?
What the hell? That shit was crazy. I was just like, someone sat down and included this in the script. Maybe they did have, usually, writers do from things from experience, right? Or something, Maybe he did have a fucking bisque white statue, bisque statue that he loved. The acting is terrible. It's just really bad. Let's just throw that out there.
Nobody here is a good actor.
No.
They're actors, all right, but nobody's good.
No, it's just really bad acting. And they have this, what is known as, because you'll have it if you put the caption on, the creepy synthesized music, quote unquote. It plays, the same tune plays throughout the whole fucking movie, and it's just strange, and it's bad. It's just really bad. But So he has a daughter. And, before they even enter the house, there's a weird occurrence that happens. The daughter is like laying on her mom's lap, and I guess she's trying to wake her daughter up because they've arrived or whatever. And all of a sudden there's like a jump shot back to back from the daughter in the car to like the bed upstairs that belonged to her aunt, her dead aunt, who she never met, obviously, because she died when she was a child. The covers being pulled back and forth off the bed.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And like she is already getting possessed at this moment. She hasn't even stepped into the house. And like, I have so many questions. Now, how could she her spirit be left in the house when the bitch died like 3 miles up the road in a fucking car, like in a tree?
Well, she roamed the earth until she came back to the house.
I mean, maybe she was just like her brother. She was really into the fucking Biz statue. She was like, I have to go back for my creepy fucking doll. Now, if I was a parent and I moved into a house, okay, where everything was furnished, and I have a little girl, and the little girl comes back, and she comes back with the ugliest fucking doll. I'm talking about, like, this is not like Annabelle. This is, like, worse than Annabelle. It's like a rag doll, but she has, like, a bauble-sized head, and, like, her eyes are, like, gutted out, right? But she has, like, long eyelashes. It's the fucking craziest looking doll.
Also, just so you know, if you go up into the attic of any house that you ever buy or rent, and there's a painting in the attic that has real fucking eyes, like real human eyes looking out of it at you, and there's nothing behind this painting, just a fucking painting with real eyes looking at you, get the fuck out of that house. Nothing good's gonna happen there.
Yes, get the fuck out.
And on the other wall is some weird fucking, looks like, medieval painting of demons and shit along the whole attic wall. You're like, oh, yeah, that's perfectly normal for a house from the 1940s. That's probably not devil worship or anything.
This is my creepy synthesized music that they play. I'm just going to throw that in the podcast here and there.
And from this point on, the daughter is possessed.
She's possessed. Repossessed. She's possessed. She's so possessed. She doesn't even know what to do with herself. And the little girl, also another question. Why is her aunt, why is she mad? Like, yes, fine, she died and that was terrible. But why is she taking it on like her niece or the brother? It's not the brother's fault the mom was a freaking see you next Tuesday. Like, hello? Why are you mad? Why are you now possessing?
Well,
like,
she was a little kid. Now she's a little kid, angry ghost,
I have none of these questions are answered. It's just, this is what's happening. There's a doll. She gets possessed by the doll via the doll, but now she's possessed. She can't live without the doll either. Like, anytime the doll's away from her, she has like a fucking fit. Yeah, like, I want to remain possessed. Where's my doll? I didn't get that either.
Now, before we go on to the next thing, we need to talk about the fashion choices in this movie because, man, everyone is wearing like various shades of brown. You've got your dark brown, your light brown, your medium brown, your brown. Everybody's in brown throughout this movie. And corduroy is king. It's like, here's your brown corduroy pants and your light brown corduroy shirt. Let's just get into that. Everybody's in fucking brown in this fucking show. Except for the little girl who's usually wearing the creepy little girl red dress. But yeah, so after, you find out she's possessed pretty quick, then that's when she goes and meets the neighbor kids. They say, like, oh, well, let's all have a play date tomorrow. And I love how when the mom of these kids she comes over with them, she brings her friend, the medium, who never gets a name. She's just, oh, I'm a medium. Let me begin to take a reading of this house. And she immediately starts seeing the creepy shit, realizes what's going on outside, This was just one of those things. 70s and 80s, there was always a fucking psychic or medium that just showed up out of nowhere and was like, oh, I'll help you out here. Why not? But yeah, so while the medium is reading the house and getting creepy things, from it, then Cathy's outside, or the daughter, I don't remember her name, but we're just going to call her Cathy. She is outside stabbing the neighbor child in the eye with a shiv. She's got her own little shank that she's stabbing him in the eye with.
Wait a second. you just skipped over like the best part of that scene is when she has the kids. Okay, the girl, she's positioning them in the little kid car. She's like, okay, you're going to sit here and you're the dad and you're the little girl. And you're going to tell the little girl, your mom's a bitch. Your mom's a bitch. And, you know,
you're going to be the ambulance driver that comes and collects the body.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? This is what? Then, you know, she fakes the accident, but then at that time, that's when she's like, now I'm going to shiv you in the eyes. Like, but why would you just sit there? Like, it's not like they were 5 years old. You should know, maybe if you see someone coming at you with a sharp object in your eyeball, maybe move away.
Yeah, don't let them just do that to you.
No, it's not like this girl was like, could overpower. I mean, maybe she did have some crazy fucking supernatural strength, but she didn't really show any strength like that in the film. So she could have gone away. But yeah, she terrorizes the kids. And I love how, and I don't know, you know, bless Canada. I don't know if this is like a Canadian or a French thing. The mom sees, they all run out, okay, and they see what's happening. Like, they see the little girl crouched on the floor. She's bleeding, you know, out of, like, not our eye, but, like, very close to her eye. There's blood. And the son is like, we gotta get out of here. And the mom was like, we're just gonna leave. Sorry about that. Just, like, not freaking out. Just grabbing her daughter. Just running away. And just like, okay, see you for tea later. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on right now?
And meanwhile, the psychic lady's just like, thanks very much for the tea. It was good. I'll come back by later. She's unfazed by all this shit.
That's because she already saw it before she even got there. She's like, I knew this shit was going to happen.
I was like, is she the friend of the mom? Or did she just fucking show up to the house randomly like, I sensed there would be a tea party here today?
Yeah, she's out of control. And then there's no use for this medium at all. You think that she'd be able to come and fight against the evil power, or maybe divulge some information on like why she's unrested or what. Nothing. She has no, like, literally the people in this film are in there just so they can either be terrorized or murdered.
Yeah, because she eventually comes back to the house, and the little girl just calls her names until she leaves.
You're a female
cow.
Filthy cow.
You're a filthy female cow. You're a dried up whore. And just calls her all these names, and she's like, stop, just leave me alone. I won't tell anyone. Like, God damn, you folded quick. This little girl calling you names. Get up and just backhand her. Do something.
Or the scene where she literally just keeps pouring alcohol to the current caretaker because, like, in all fashions, you know, the evil kids, they always got to get rid of the mom. The mom, we got to get her out of the house for some time so we can control the dad more. It happened in, like, the revival of, like, The Omen, right? Like, yeah. You know, that happened there. And we got to get rid of the mom. So that happened. So there's no one to take care of this little girl. But, you know, I'm going to leave, you know, the handyman. I'm going to leave my daughter.
To be fair, they did leave him first with the nanny. Or the maid, whoever it was.
Well, no, that was before the mom left, before she got terrorized. The nanny, she did have a nanny, and then
who immediately got thrown out the window.
Yeah, she got thrown out the window. She did get thrown out the window, big time.
And then was just like, well, that shit happens. The police are all just like, well,
that's why there was no one to take care of her later on when the mom went to the cuckoo house.
Yeah, it didn't take her long to drive the mom crazy.
No,
because the mom seemed like she was like Nicholson in The Shining. She was already 3/4 of the way there, and it didn't take a long time to get her over the edge.
She was majorly unhinged, and that's because she had either a miscarriage or there's something happened. They had a son, and he passed away before they moved into the house. So she was in like her postpartum, like a weird, you know, she was dealing with that.
And she was being super passive-aggressive to the dad the whole time, like bitching at him about everything. You could tell she did not want to live there.
No, and I would not want to live there either. That house was terrible. I mean, I'm not just talking about the furnishings. It was just a disgusting-looking house. I didn't care for the house. The house was mad creepy. Yes, it did have to do with a lot of the stuff that was in the attic. But it was just 70s creepy. Like, the decor is just like, ooh, no.
It was just one step above the house from Don't Go in the House. It was a little bit better than that, but not much.
When you have, like, that like, I don't know, it was like a reddish brown carpeting that was really big at that time.
Yeah.
Creepy. Like, who thought that was a good look?
But so she's gotten rid of everyone but the handyman who's taking care of her now.
And she's just pouring drink after drink, and then there's like
who lets the child pour the whiskey for him?
I don't know.
At what point were you like, come here, 10-year-old girl, and pour me a whiskey?
And then while you're pouring the whiskey, sit on my lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just dynamic was just very strange. The movie has a lot of strange directions it goes in, and just, it's...
But yeah, here's my favorite part of the movie is when she's pouring whiskey for the handyman.
Like the next day after.
The next day, she's still pouring him more whiskey, and he's just looking at her, and then she just makes the creepy eyes, and then snakes appear all over the floor.
Halloween 3, just random snakes, a tarantula.
And then there's just, I love how he's like sitting there calmly while the tarantula walks across his neck, walks across the front of his face, just looking at him like, hey, what's going on? But then later the tarantula's on his arm. A couple seconds later, he's like, oh, God! Freaking out. I would have been freaking out when that thing was on my face, not when it was on my arm.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you why the delay and the freak out. All I know was that this is not CGI, so all of these fucking things were actually on this man, and I would have been looking in terror as he was. He actually didn't even have a look of terror on his face. He was so fucking calm because he had to be. Because he had all kinds of snakes, nasty, creepy crawlies. That was like the worst scene in the whole movie for me because I do not like any of that stuff, man. I was just like, oh no, this is just terrible. And why was she terrorizing him? Like, I get that maybe she had to get her jollies off, but the whole point was that she didn't want to stay anywhere else. She did not want to leave the house because I think that once she left the house, her power would not be able to like affect the little girl. So she needed to be at the house. That was like her base. So why would you do something that's going to affect you possibly leaving the house? Because if this man can't take care of you, the dad already said, I'm working and I can't take care of you, which is why she ends up with the freaking handyman.
And I'll have to send you to stay with so-and-so if you can't. So
behave.
Yeah, you'd think just behave. You can, fuck with him a little bit, but not so much.
I mean, damn, she fucked this man up. And I just one crazy thing after another happens in this film. There's that whole scene where like, was it him that got skinned?
Yes. He ends up like thrown out of a window and skinned alive. So, yeah, he's not going to be watching the kid very often.
No, he is not. And you know what? I've never gotten so drunk that I've let some crazy shit happen to me. I mean, obviously not a tarantula on my fucking boob, but he was like, how drunk was this man?
He was pretty intense. And then this is one of those movies too where like, it goes on for a while, and then when it's over, it's just, boom, done.
Yeah, at the end. I'm like, okay.
Like, the dad just suddenly grabs the doll, tears its eye. Was it the dad or the mom?
I don't even know, but the fucking doll's ripped to shreds. And it's just, like, what?
Once he ripped the eyes out of the doll, that seemed to solve everything, and then, okay, everybody's good.
Yeah. How do you explain the bodies, the skin man on the lawn, the fucking dead dog, like all kinds of terrible, like this is a scene where the dog is dead and it looks like someone just put like through paint in like various points to make it seem like he had been like punctured in different areas. I just love that fake, thick, like it doesn't even.
It was clearly paint.
It's paint. It's not freaking whatchamacallit. That stuff that they use in Carrie, that sticky stuff. Not molasses.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Caro syrup.
Yeah, it's not Caro syrup. It's definitely like paint. It just looks bad. The poor dog. Hey, the dog, he bore through. He just laid there. He looked dead. It was like a Doberman pinscher. Like, what? This is not the dog I would have for, like, if I had a family.
It's like an attack dog you keep around to, protect your weed stash.
One of my other favorite parts is when she has a fit and like she comes down the stairs normal. This is where, because the scenes are so erratic. She comes down the stairs, she's normal, right? She sits at the table, the nanny like pours her fucking cereal. She throws the damn bowl across the fucking room, like for no reason whatsoever, just to fuck with the nanny, I guess. And then the nanny goes and she picks up 3 pieces of it on the floor. Mind you, there's like, it's a bowl for like a full of cereal. There's like a shit ton of pieces. She picks up the 3 pieces on the floor and says, "Oh, well, it's all done." No, it's not all done. There's still fucking shards of fucking porcelain on the damn floor, woman. Like,
and she's not even upset about it. It was just
she's not. She's like, oops, things happen. The bitch threw it. Like, she just catapulted that shit across the room.
And the nanny was just like, she had dropped her fork on the floor accidentally. It was just like, oh, well, let me get that.
It was like, okay. She's like, I don't want cereal. If you didn't want, I'll do it myself. Like, she just wanted to pour the cereal herself so then she could throw it. I mean, she could have thrown it either way, whether it was poured for her or not. If you wanted bacon, then just fucking said you wanted bacon and you didn't want cold-ass fucking cereal. Like, I just don't get it. What the hell was that about?
Weird thing to throw a fit about.
Maybe ghosts, maybe like possessed little girls don't like cereal.
Apparently not, because Jesus Christ, she had a fit about it.
And let me tell you, it was probably like brand, like oat brand
cereal.
Cereal.
It did not look good. It was not a fun cereal. It was one of those cereals that when you saw it coming in the cart, you were like, oh God, I'm going to have to eat a whole box of that.
Yeah, it's a cereal like Ian Paswell talks about, like Patton Oswalt talks about, like the old person cereal where it's like granola and oats and shit.
Horkin brand fiber or something like that.
Yeah, you're eating when you're like in your 50s. That kind of fucking cereal. That's what they gave this little girl. No wonder she chucked it. I guess I can't blame her now.
Yeah, I would have too.
I just, what was another like crazy fuck scene?
You mean from the beginning to the end of the movie? They were all crazy fuck scenes. But nothing normal happened in this movie. Even the police were weird and creepy when they came to investigate the death. They seemed like they were kind of like, they were checked out. Like, well, I guess we got to collect this body. No one in this movie was a good actor. That's all. No one sold anything as believable remotely.
No, a lot of people, love this film, and I've seen it quoted like it's so bad it's good. I disagree with that. It is. I guess if you see it from the point it's so good that you're gonna laugh your fucking ass off and be like, this is the most ridiculous movie I've ever seen.
Well, This is one of those movies that if you watch it by yourself late at night, it's going to be really upsetting and just boring and stupid. But if you watch it together like we did, or watch it with a group of people, it would be fun as hell. This one would play great in the theater, I think, with just people just laughing their ass off at it. We're
just going to put this in the drinking game section. I've mentioned this many times. Something you would either play in the background when you're having a party on silent, or, you going to make some kind of drinking game out of. Maybe every time she cusses at somebody or calls someone.
Oh, you'd be fucked up if you took a drink every time she cussed at somebody, because she yells at a lot of people in this movie.
She has a very filthy mouth, but then again, literally the first line of the movie is the father saying the mom is a bitch. So
he started it, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably basic vocab for her. Everything the father probably said about the mom. That's where she picked up the filthy cow and all kinds of other crazy shit she says. And the whole, there are so many scenes where she's, blinking in and out.
Yeah, she's just randomly teleporting. And the mom is just the mom and the nanny, when they see this stuff, are just like, oh, she teleports. Cool.
Yeah, it was a normal thing. They didn't know what kind of powers. Is she possessed? What kind of supernatural powers does she have? She has powers that she can literally pop in and out. She doesn't have a human body. What? She's able to, blow things. She has, fire starter powers where she's able to, blow shit and push people out fucking windows with her mind.
Excuse me.
She's able to move objects. She has a lot of different, it's whatever's needed for this fucking scene, that's what's gonna happen, and you're just gonna accept it kind of thing.
Yeah, there was no consistency to it. She just did whatever the hell she wanted to.
Yeah, this film, we saw it on Tubi, and it's free.
Tubi. Bless Tubi. They come up with the greatest shit on that channel.
They do. If you want to watch some crazy shit, just flip through the fucking Tubi section, the horror section. There's all kinds of crazy.
As many things as we've watched and covered from Tubi, I feel like they really should give us a sponsorship.
We love you, Tubi. Yeah, we do find a lot of stuff. And actually, you said that they made like a special edition.
Yeah, there's a special edition Blu-ray of this that came out a couple of years ago. It had been largely unavailable. People just, they saw it, like, mainly it was theatrical prints of it that were screened that people saw. And until, like, a couple of years ago when it came out on Blu-ray, that was the only way you could really see it. So, yeah, it's got its following.
I give the film 2 knives.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 knives just for entertainment value. It's not that I'm saying it's good, it's just, it's fun.
It is fun-esque, and totally don't go in there thinking, there's gonna be some resolution, or this is gonna be this kind of horror movie. It's like something you've never fucking seen before, and it's wild and just all over the place, and you're gonna be
It's like someone was trying to make a parody of it, but they forgot to be funny.
Yes, I would
intentionally funny.
I would say that. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for another review on one of our horror picks. This one we found, like we said, on Tubi, Cathy's Curse. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.